On this week's edition of the Left Bench TV, the Maryland men's lacrosse team making an impact one step at a time.
A new member of the Maryland field hockey team is bringing her talents from the 2016 Olympics to College Park.
Now, with the weight lifted off their shoulders, the Maryland men's lacrosse team looks toward a new season.
Left Bench TV starts now.
Investigation continues for the Maryland football program as Big Ten play carries on for the team as well. Hello and welcome to this edition of Left Bench TV. I'm Nolan Gelbard.
And I'm Morgan Weaver. The football team traveled to Ann Arbor over the weekend to take on number 15 Michigan, ultimately falling 42-21. Despite a 98-yard kickoff return for a touchdown from Ty Johnson in an early lead, they were unable to hold on. Michigan then scored 24 unanswered points and gave the Terps the first loss in the Big Ten this season. We will see the Terps back in action next week at home against Rutgers.
While the Terps continue their Big Ten play, the investigation surrounding the alleged toxic culture still plays out in the background. The Washington Post reported this week that in 2016, a letter was sent to President Wallace Lowe's office concerning the culture of the football program. The person who sent the letter, a former Maryland football player's mother, who spoke to the Post anonymously, says she hand-delivered the letter to Lowe's office and emailed it to the people in the athletic department, including former athletic director Kevin Anderson, describing her son's experience with Coach DJ Durkin in the letter. She claims that the coaches physically and emotionally abused players and said Durkin's, quote, actions and extreme and outrageous, intentional and reckless, and the sole cause of the emotional distress.
Maryland football has a lot to figure out, but one team has it all figured out: field hockey. Maryland taking on Rutgers. The Terps currently ranked number 2 in the nation, and they are looking to remain undefeated. They start off firing on offense. This shot from Sabrina Rose was unfortunately caught off, but just moments later, Kyler Greenwald earns the Terps the first goal of the game. Near the end of the half, Maryland creating pressure, and BB Donrat drills one in. Second half now, the defense is looking good with a save against a corner, and the Terps keep it away from Rutgers with a perfect passes. Maryland back-to-back corners, and the ball is stuck towards the net, but it is saved. Rutgers keeps Maryland on their toes with a goal, but the Terps are able to defend their own and walk away with the win. Maryland field hockey has boasted an incredible season so far, despite having their winning streak snapped by number 7 Penn State on Sunday. The work of defender Nika Lorenz has been shining for the Terps. Annabelle Jensen has the story.
Number 11.
With many fresh faces on the field hockey team, one in particular stands out. Olympic medalist, Kobe Bryant lover, and junior at Maryland, Nika Lorenz is not the average new Terp. Just after her first semester, Lorenz is a leading defender for the field hockey team.
Nika's an outstanding player. I mean, she's a defensive plug, and she is such an offensive threat. And what's nice about Nika is you just don't know when she's going to play hard. And I don't mean hard from the standpoint of effort. I mean that she can take the game in her hand in a second.
Not to mention, she is native to Germany and started pursuing an education in the U.S. just this year. Lorenz played for the German national team in the 2016 Summer Olympics in Rio, and she was awarded a silver medal. Her achievements span from Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week to Best Young Player at World League semifinals in 2017. Lorenz has helped the Terps thrive this season. The team has earned a number 2 ranking in the nation and had a 13-game winning streak.
I think for Nika, one of the biggest contributions that she has for us is that she's obviously on the women's German team, so during our practices and such, she'll help us if she sees us doing things wrong. So it's great to have somebody else's opinion other than our coaching staff.
Nika has earned many achievements in her career, but she still has a lot to learn from the Terps.
Nice, and she's still learning about NCAA field hockey. It's very different than international hockey, very different than FIH and Olympic level and World Cup. And our whole staff has either coached or played at that level, and it's a different brand of hockey.
The field hockey team will continue to fight hard as the season goes on. For the Left Bench TV, I'm Annabelle Jansen.
As Nika Lorenz continues to bring her Olympic talents to the field hockey team, the men's soccer team struggled Friday night against a Big Ten foe. The Terps celebrated the program's first ever national championship with a 1968 team before going head-to-head against number 13 Michigan State. Maryland had some chances early on, but they never really were able to get on target. In the 15th minute, after a foul from the Terps, Michigan State sends in a free kick and beats Dane St. Clair far post for the early lead. Maryland came out firing in the second half, but senior keeper Jimmy Haig shut down the Terps offense all night long. Late in the half, Eli Canali picked up his second yellow card of the game, putting the Terps down a man, and the Spartans were quick to answer. In the 80th minute, Michigan State put the game away for good. Roofing this goal over St. Clair, the Terps get shut out for the first time in almost a month, losing 2-0. Then they traveled to Georgetown Monday afternoon, which resulted in a 0-0 draw after extra time. While the men's team recently hasn't been able to get results, women's soccer picked up a win against a ranked opponent for the first time in 4 years. Joe Alardi and James Mahoney have more on what changes the Terps made
Here
Sunday.
at Ludwig Field with women's soccer beat reporter James Mahoney, and right here yesterday, the Terps were able to take down the number 14 Northwestern Wildcats with a bit of a formation change. So how exactly did that happen?
Well, Coach Ray Leon said his team wasn't scoring, and so he needed to make a change. Heading into this match, the Terps had about a 300-minute scoreless streak, so they go ahead, change from their 4-3-3 formation to a 3-5-2, put 5 players in midfield, 2 attackers, 2 central forwards up top, and it worked out pretty well for the Terps. They were able to link up with each other, create a lot more opportunities on offense. And if you look ahead at the first goal of the match here, Jenna Sertic wins a 50-50 ball in the midfield, getting it up to Darby Moore. Darby Moore makes no mistake, sliding a ball in to Jarena Harmon, her attack partner. Rockets one right past the keeper there for the first goal of the match. The second goal of the match is a tremendous run of play by the Terps. Lauren Sefkick gets it up to Michaela Day, who works it up the field, getting through a couple of defenders. She eventually gets it on to Hope Lewandowski, the right midfielder. Hope Lewandowski goes ahead, plays the ball in, back to Sefkick, who makes about a 60-yard run on this play, and she's able to chip one over Mackenzie Wood from a narrow angle, her first career goal in a beautiful sequence by the Terps.
Yesterday was also senior day for the Terps here at Ludwig. How do you think that played into the atmosphere and how they were able to pull off that big win?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because it was senior day, but the Terps still have one more home game. They still got 3 more road games as well to play together, so it wasn't that last game. So it might have not had that emotion of your last time going out there. So I think they were able to play with the fun, the environment, that their families and friends were here, so that was definitely an energy boost. But they also were playing with the comfort knowing that this wasn't the last time, so maybe they were able to play a bit more freely. Rachel Eggy, a senior, played great in net with 7 saves. Jarena Harmon, of course, had the first goal in the game. Jenna Sertic and Katie Badham also played great games as well. So I think that was that energy boost they needed to get this win against number 14 Northwestern.
Thanks, James. Morgan, back to you in the studio.
A great win for women's soccer and for their season looking ahead. Also looking ahead is our Kevin Brown into the men's lacrosse team.
New looks for the Maryland men's lacrosse team this fall as the Terps look to use the end of last season as motivation.
In a good way, there's a lot less distractions, and last fall, we got to do a lot of exciting things that I'm very happy we got to do, like go to the White House and some other things like that. So, in a good way, we haven't had to deal with those, but that's a good thing to deal with. So hopefully it's something that, next year's fall class can kind of get to do.
Unlike last year, this Maryland team won't have to deal with the pressure of repeating as national champions.
A lot of the guys, definitely a little weight off the shoulder, I think. I mean, if anyone said, is there any pressure, and they said no, I think they'd be lying just because, it's tough. Repeat like that. But, like I said, we're just trying to come out here every day.
Leaders like Bernhardt, Brozowski, and Curtis Corley will be important to set the standards for the younger players.
And now that, the room is a little more quiet and knowing we need those guys, it's really cool for them to see them step up. Nick's been great. Curtis Corley stepped up. Jared Bernhardt has been very vocal so far, and that's a role we desperately needed him to kind of take on, and he's really embraced it so far.
With the new role comes a new number for Bernhardt, the famous Maryland number 1.
It's just an honor. You go on and on about all the guys that have worn it before. Like I said, it was just a great honor, to be able to accept and wear number 1 here.
Bernhardt and the Terps will have to adjust to the new 80-second shot clock implemented this season.
Really, we're just working for a really good shot. And if it happens 5 seconds in, then that's great. If it takes a little longer, it takes a little longer.
Try not to change too much. Obviously, you have to speed up a little bit. Still a lot of time, though. There's still 80 seconds. After clearing it, you still got a lot of time for offense.
Reporting for the Left Bench TV, I'm Kevin Brown.
So the lacrosse team is getting ready for what should be another successful season, but they're doing their part off the field as well.
Yeah, they really are. And our Rachel Hersheimer went to check it out, all the impacts that they have made.
Great one.
All right, let's do it. If we can impact positively other people's lives, then to me, that's what life's all about.
That's what the men's lacrosse team has been doing for 7-year-old Finn Crimmins for 3 years. In 2014, Finn was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. A year after his diagnosis, he became an honorary member of the men's lacrosse team through an organization called Team Impact.
They treat him like a little brother and a teammate, like combined, and he just absolutely feels like one of the team.
The team hosted their 4th annual Team Impact Walk, with Finn by their side.
The walk itself is, to me, kind of a celebration of what our whole program hopefully embodies, which is, trying to make a difference.
Team Impact pairs children facing chronic illnesses with local college athletes. And as Coach Tillman said today, well, his team has actually gotten a lot more out of this organization than Finn has.
I think he's helped us more in terms of perspective and just, making sure guys realize we have a lot of great things and we should be thankful for all those things.
I really like it because I really can go on the sidelines and have a lot of fun.
Finn's phenomenal. His energy, his enthusiasm, his passion for life, it definitely rubs off on all of us.
Finn teaches these college athletes that the result off the field is more important than the result on the field. In College Park, for the Left Bench TV, I'm Rachel Hersheimer.
Thanks, Rachel. The volleyball team fell to number 9 Penn State Friday and took down Rutgers Saturday, but last week, they did battle against the Buckeyes.
A huge crowd for the Saturday night match against Ohio State, and the Terps started off strong, taking set 1 25-22 with a service ace from Abigail Bentz. The team went back and forth in set 2, but right here, Emma Schreiner ties it up at 20, and who else but Erica Pritchard slams it down and gives the Terps the set point. Maryland began to struggle, and the Buckeyes forced the match into the 5th set. That's where the Terps got their groove back. Right here, deciding point, Nicole Alford sets it up for Liz Twilley, who knocks it down and gave Maryland their 2nd conference win.
Many Maryland athletes play with the same goal, and that goal is to make the pros someday. And we like to recognize those Terps that have. And this week, our pro Terp in the spotlight is none other than the man behind the Minneapolis Miracle. Stephon Diggs was on display the last couple of weeks for the Minnesota Vikings. In his matchups against the LA Rams and the Philadelphia Eagles, he combined for 21 receptions for 214 yards to go along with 25 rushing yards. Impressive stuff from the former 5th-round pick, and you can catch him in action again on Sunday when the Vikings take on the Arizona Cardinals.
So some impressive numbers from Stephon Diggs, but now it's time for the top 3 plays of the week. Let's take things over to the Field Hockey and Lacrosse Complex for number 3, Friday night. Sophomore midfielder Kyler Greenwald taking this one to the back of the net off of a penalty corner for the first goal of the game against Rutgers.
All right, let's take it to the pitch for number 2. Terps goalie Dane St. Clair showing off his skills as freshman Firai Mutatu tries to slide one into the back of the net, but St. Clair not giving that one up.
In our top play of the week, on the hardwood, the deciding match point against the Buckeyes, Nicole Alford setting up Liz Twilley and knocks this one down to close out the show, defeating Ohio State. Some great plays this week, but one player in particular has stood out. Erica Pritchard is our Terp of the week, tallying 34 kills in her past 3 games and is leading the team with 258 kills overall this season. Terps doing good both on the court and in the streets.
Yeah, that's right. And the search is on for the Maryland football player who offered his towel to senior UMD student Nicole Peak after she was soaked from an SUV driving through a mud puddle.
Well, it's always nice to see Terps helping Terps.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, that concludes our edition of this TLBTV, and I'm Morgan Weaver.
And I'm Nolan Gelbart. Thanks for watching. Make sure to keep up with all of our coverage on Facebook and Twitter at The Left Bench, and we'll see you next time.